how would I finish this out? I might, let's see here. What would I do? I'd probably maybe give it a space or two here. And there's a million different ways you could do this. I could also divide this up into two separate lines of type to give it more control. I could also, let's see here, I could increase the size of just this line of text. So if I just highlight this line of text with my text type tool, and I go over here to size, I can actually just scale up this part of the text here. Right, and like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. What I'm trying to do is kind of line the A and the P up and the L and the E without increasing the size of the quotation marks here. So not perfect, but that works for me. And then it might be interesting to make these quotation marks like a different color. So I just highlight that quotation mark, click on fill color, and I could make them like a deep red. And I could take this one and I could just use the eyedropper tool, select it there. Perfect. And let's say that the New York Times is who said this. So I'll use my type tool. I'll type again. I'll do dash the New York Times. And I probably want to make this left justified, and you can see the anchor point jumps over here so that now when I go back to my character palette, I can bring the type size down like so. And let me show you something interesting here. So if I was to go up to my tool panel here and turn on snapping and enable these things, if I click on the right side here of my type, you can see there's a box that appears right here on the right side there. And it's going to try to align on the right justification, like with this quotation mark here. I could click in the center here and I could align it center, just like that, which looks pretty nice. And then like you can see a center line pops up there. You know, for whatever reason, this helps you just to align things design-wise inside of After Effects. So it's a very powerful feature called snapping. There's our basic typography setup. So now let me show you how you might animate this. So if I bring my top layer up here to the top, and let's say I want it just to maybe fade on, do something very simple. I can go up to animation, and I can apply an animation preset. I can also browse presets. So if I was to click on browse presets, it's going to launch Adobe Bridge if you have it installed. And Adobe Bridge is going to kind of show you what different presets may look like. So right here, there's all these different presets. And if I go to text and double click, I can see here's the presets inside of text. I can go to animate in. So here are the different presets inside of After Effects for text. I can select a preset like fade up words. I can click OK, and it's going to apply it to my text, and there's going to be animation applied to my text. Another way is to make sure your text is selected. Just go up to animation, apply animation preset. It's going to say, where are your presets at? Typically, for me on a Mac, they are underneath my application, presets, text. There we are. And I'm going to use animate in. There's all types of different presets here for you guys to play around with. I'm just going to go in and find a very simple one. Let's find one that says, fade up words. I'll click open, and boom, there it is. If I scroll down my layer here under text, you're going to see some keyframes start to show up here, right? And I'm going to keep diving down, and here they are. It's a start keyframe. So it's coming on. Let's say right now it's happening over the course of 1 second and 4 frames. If I need it to happen over the course of, let's say, 3 seconds, all I have to do is select this keyframe, drag it out, and now it happens over 3 seconds, right? So really simple stuff. If I close this one back up in New York Times, I'll say, hey, let's apply a preset to this one, and we'll do fade up characters on this one. And let me show you a quick tip. If you hit U on your keyboard, it's going to immediately reveal your keyframe wherever it's at. And there it is. So maybe we want this to come in right after performance comes in. And let's preview this one. And there we go. So very simple example of typography in After Effects. Very powerful once you get the hang of it. Something I use in every single motion design project. That's how you use the presets. Now let me show you how you can create your own animation on text. It's very simple as well. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete the animator here, so nothing happens there. And we'll go ahead and delete this animator, nothing happens there. And we'll just focus on a masterful performance here. Let's see, what could we do? We could say, so what we do is we open up text and we say animate. And we can enable per character 3D, the anchor points position, the fill color. There's all these different things we could animate. So for instance, I could animate the tracking. Okay, and it's going to apply an animator to that tracking. And there's different amounts you can adjust here. There's the tracking amount. I can open up the range selector, start, end, and it's going to animate this based on however much I've set. So you can see here that it's moving, right? So very simple ways to animate text. There's all these different things you can get into with scale and skew and rotation, opacity. The list goes on and on and on. Typography in After Effects is super, super powerful. Definitely dive in and explore it more.